Okay, and then it says the kings of the Medes, his devices against Babylon. And that refers to Iran. So it says the device of the Iranians basically are against Babylon. Set up the watch, O you that dwell upon the many waters, abundant in treasures. Your end has come. He makes lightning and rain and brings forth the wind. They are confounded by the graven images. They are vanity. Jacob is not like them. So Jacob is humanity again. So it says humanity is not like those idols. It's a deception. Those idols are false. Those idols are not only false, they're weapons of war, it says. With those idols, Babylon is broken into pieces. So we all know that it's a matter of historical record that tyrannies typically dish out a heavy dose of entertainment to keep the masses distracted. So we know the idols, that's part of it. It's talking about the entertainment idols. It says they are not real. That is totally false, all of it. Humanity is nothing like your idols. That's what it's telling you that right here. And it not only that, but they are weapons of war. They are breaking Babylon into pieces. And then it talks down here about the destroying mountain. It says, I will render unto Babylon and to the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done, O destroying mountain, which destroys the earth. So that line seems to have a few layers of meaning also, because Daniel tells us the stone that destroys that final phase of the beast, or the final phase of the image, which is the final beast. Daniel 2 tells us that that stone that destroys that will become a mountain in the land. It's a destroying stone, or an asteroid that is so big it becomes a mountain in the land after it hits. And the pit it makes becomes a valley. We talk about that in the video on hell. It's linked below. So we're still in Jeremiah 51, and it says, I am against thee, O destroying mountain. So on another level, on one level, it's referring to the asteroid that hits the land and becomes a mountain after that in the land. But it's also referring to a specific head of the beast right here. Because remember, it says the beast has 7 heads, and those 7 heads are 7 mountains that the great city sits on. And that's currently all 7 continents, because it says the beast will take over the whole world. So the 7 heads or 7 mountains are now the 7 continents. So when Jeremiah says the destroying mountain, it seems to be referring to one of the 7 continents, one of the 7 mountains that Babylon sits on. So, on the one hand, again, it's referring to the destroying mountain as in the asteroid that hits, and on the other hand, it's referring to a specific continent. So I'm wondering if that means Jeremiah is telling us specifically which continent will be hit by the asteroid. We're gonna look at some of the characteristics of this place. So it says, O destroying mountain, I will make you a burnt mountain. One post shall run to meet another, to show the king of Babylon that his city is taken at one end, and that the passages are stopped, and the reeds they have burnt with fire. Okay, so Revelation 9 tells us that after the asteroid hits, the war will start, and an army will come in and destroy that part of the earth where the asteroid hit. So which mountain is it talking about? Which continent is it specifically referring to? I don't know for sure, but these are some of the characteristics of that continent, or seem to be, in Jeremiah 50 and 51. So it says that its people there rejoice and have grown fat. It has cattle. It has multiple cities. humanity, or at least some of humanity, was held captive and oppressed there. The people there are mingled. They are mad upon their idols. All the world is drunk from its wine, quote unquote. It dwells upon many waters. It is abundant in treasures. It is the praise of the whole earth. It has done evil and destroyed all the earth. Its men are drunken and sleep a perpetual sleep, and it mounts up to heaven. So again, I don't know exactly where that is, but I admit it does sound a lot like North America. I'm not saying for sure that's what it is, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But we know Babylon the Great covers the whole earth. But again, in Jeremiah 50 and 51, it seems to be referring to the specific continent where the asteroid will hit, because we know one meteorite hits the sea. It tells us that clearly. It hits the Sea of Babylon. But it also says that either that same meteorite or another one will hit and make a huge pit, and that dust and smoke will come out of that pit. So it may be saying that there are two meteorites, the one in Revelation 8 and 9, and then the one in Revelation 17 that hits the sea. We don't know. But these are the characteristics right here of that place. Seem to be the characteristics of that continent where the asteroid will hit, the destroying mountain. So like I said, I don't know, but it appears to refer to one of these 7 areas right here, one of these 7 continents, because the beast has 7 heads, and those 7 heads are 7 mountains that the great city sits on. So this one right here is also a list of what it says will happen to that area. You can pause to read that if you want. We're going to go into some of this stuff at the end, because it talks about the Liberty Wall and all of that. So we're going to go into that in a minute. But again, it's talking about the daughter of Babylon. So again, this seems to be a more specific area than just the whole earth. It's the specific continent where the asteroid sits. So it says the daughter of Babylon, the time of her harvest shall come. And then it says, the violence done to me be upon Babylon, my blood upon the inhabitants of Chaldea. So that's the rescued in heaven that are talking right there at the mountain of God, Zion. So the bride, we're told the bride was being persecuted in Babylon. Then it says, I will dry up her sea. So the bride is being persecuted, and they are up in heaven in the mountain of God, the Mount Zion in heaven, and they're looking down, and they're saying, the violence done to me be upon Babylon, my blood upon the inhabitants of Chaldea. So that's justice right there. Everybody who does not get rescued participated in the persecution of the bride. That's what it says over and over again. It's the wheat and the tares thing. Okay, so, and there, I just want to say this really quick. There are three rescues. So there are 3 groups of people that get rescued. Not all of them go in the first rescue. It does say that as well. But the ones that lie in the lake of fire, that nuclear event, those are the ones that Ezekiel tells us it's few. So I don't want to get into that right now because I don't know. But the texts tell us that they persecute the bride. So the bride that escapes first is being persecuted. And those that persecute the bride obviously don't go. They don't escape in that first escape. Some of them, it seems like, because, well, Jesus said it's for a couple reasons. Okay, Jesus said it's because they weren't worthy, but then he also said it's because they didn't want to go. He invited them, but they didn't want to go. So it's for a couple of different reasons. So let's just finish this right here. So that's what it's talking about. That's the rescue right there. Okay, then it says, I will dry up her sea and make her springs dry. In their heat I will make them drunken, that they may rejoice and sleep a perpetual sleep. How is the praise of the whole world surprised? The sea is come up upon Babylon. She is covered with the multitude of the waves. So, okay, so it's talking about two things here. Revelation tells us the asteroid will hit the Sea of Babylon, which appears to be the Atlantic Ocean. So the waves will hit all the coasts surrounding that. So when Jeremiah is referring to a specific continent, it must be one of these four here, either North America, South America, Africa, or Europe. Okay, so Jeremiah 51 continues. The sea has come up upon Babylon. She is covered with the multitude of the waves. Her cities are a desolation. Notice that's cities plural. So it's talking about more than one, just one literal city here. Then it says the wall of Babylon shall fall. And that may refer to Wall Street, because in verse 58, it says the broad wall. And remember, when we were looking at the definitions in Revelation 11, it said the bodies of the witnesses will lie in the broad way or the broad street. And here the phrase is broad wall. So we have broad wall and broad street. In other words, Wall Street. And I mean, I'm not saying that's what it is for sure. I'm just pointing out that that could be what it is. But also, if you look at the definition of this word 7342, it also means liberty. Okay, and later it talks specifically about the lady, quote unquote. So I'm not saying the continent is for sure North America, but the closer I look at it, the more it seems like maybe it is the place where the asteroid will hit. I'm not saying for sure. It's just, it does appear that's a strong possibility. And this word for wall right here, number 2346, it actually means two walls, which could be a reference to the Twin Towers. So it says all over, it says the towers will fall and the walls will fall. And in this case, it's the two walls. And this word, 2346, stems from an unused root, which means to join. So it could be a joined together wall or even a joined together tower, maybe. So when it says two walls, it may actually refer to the two towers. That may be another reference to that, and that's in the United States. But the other reason I suspect it could refer to Wall Street is the crash of 1929 is mentioned in the third seal. We talk about that in detail in the video on the 7 seals. It's linked below in the description. And the recovery of that crash, that Wall Street crash, occurred during the 1960s. And that's when the construction of the World Trade Centers began. And also when the 7 Shabua first occurred, when Daniel says the street and the wall shall be built again. The street and the wall, in other words, Wall Street. We've talked about that before. So when it says the wall of Babylon shall fall, it may be referring to Wall Street. So North America may actually be the continent it's referring to. So, okay, I have to stop this part right here. Again, the link and to the whole playlist is below.